We just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, same old, same old, every single day, without this. Please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Good evening, everyone. And is me up or you? Anthony? Good evening, Anthony.
Good evening, Frank. Good evening, everyone. Hope we're all well.
I think they all are, you know, whoever's tuned in, because it's going to be good tonight. It's going to be good tonight. And I just want to thank our sponsors.
Yeah.
And it's Gap Painting Services. If you're thinking of doing your house outside or inside or both, don't struggle. Don't struggle with ladders at all, because some people use ladders. And it's really horrible. You know, if you have a little accident, get these lads in. They're fully time served. There's no cowboys. They all know what they're doing. They're fully insured just in case something happens. So just get these lads in, Gap Painting Services. If you're an NHS worker, I'm telling you now, get them in, because you get a special discount. Also, if you're elderly, you get a special discount. But if you don't fit into those categories, all you've got to do is just ring them up. They'll come out, they'll give you the price without any obligation whatsoever. Just get them in. And they sponsor every single podcast that I do. Every one of them. You know, whether it's the history with my old mate there, Anthony, or, you know, the football, anything. And don't forget as well, all you football fans, that have got a podcast tomorrow to talk about pre-match Marseille game. And you don't have to give predictions. Starts tomorrow night, 7 o'clock as usual. And Gap Painting Services, as I said, sponsors everything, including the Friday night's current affairs. So what do you think of that? Oh, I'm sorry, Anthony.
All right.
That was Jason, that.
You're going to touch your Henry VIII there, off with his head.
Plain Jason. I do anyway. Let's see who's been Toscana. Buonasera, Franco and chatters. Hope you're all well. And Archie says, you about Frank? It's, yeah, he sent that at 7 o'clock. Yeah, I'm hanging all right. Frankie, says Darryl. Imagine doing a history show on Onslaught, 10-second stream over.
Was it just 10 seconds?
And Janet says, good evening, guys. Good evening.
Good evening, Janet.
TW, even a Frank in chat.
Evening, TW.
Darrell says, evening Antonio, legend of the art world.
I am humble. Thank you, Darrell.
Smash the likes and subscribe, please. Says TW. I seen you on a pod the other day. TW, seen you on a pod. What was it? Some Irish thing, I think. Some Irish fella. What age is elderly? Says Janet. Anthony's age.
At least 120.
No, if you're, coming up to be a pensioner, put it that way, 60 plus. That's all. 60 plus, Janet. And actually, about bloody time, I'm in the kitchen making scouse. Love to, Anthony. Says Archie and his dog are up to our neck in vegetables. Love you both.
Cheers, Archie.
And Jeanette says, Anthony, I was talking to you, wasn't I? About I was watching a film today called Pimpernel Smith.
Yeah.
Now, do you know who actually wrote the book? Yeah, this thing there. Look.
Listen out. No.
Pimpernel Smith.
No, don't know who wrote the book.
Well, not this Pimpernel Smith, but you know the Scarlet Pimpernel.
Yes.
Do you know who wrote it? Have you got any? When I mention the name, you'll go, well, yeah.
Wow. Because we talked about who was the Scarlet Pimpernel, but no. Well, you'll have to.
Somebody, it was Baroness Ortsky.
Okay.
Baroness Ortsky. And do you know who she based it on? She actually based the Scarlet Pimpernel on a real life person. They seek him here, they seek him there.
It's one of our own, isn't it?
It is. And shall I tell you who it is?
Yes, please.
And there's a street named after him. There's a dock named after him. And his name is William Huskisson.
Fantastic.
And, he was the first fatality on the railway because he was an investor in the railway. Yeah. And he went over to greet the Duke of Wellington. He was the Prime Minister at the time. And George Stephenson, the rocket.
Yeah.
As he went over, he slipped and his leg went on the line, and the rocket went over and severed his leg, and he bled to death, unfortunately.
Such a tragic story for an absolutely brilliant man.
Oh yeah, well, all you've got to do is just look at what he did, what he achieved, because he actually went over to France, during all the chaos of 1789. Getting out the, some aristocrats and people who were in dire trouble with the citizens, because they were just grabbing anyone and putting them up to the guillotine. At the time, it was terrible chaos. People don't realise how much was going on in during the French Revolution. And Liverpool are playing on Wednesday, Marseille. Now the French I love the French national anthem, actually. I really love it. Full of passion and everything.
Yeah.
so passionate it is. And when you see the French singing it, unbelievable. Really full of emotion and passion.
Yeah.
So it's called the Marseille, right?
Yeah.
Or the Marseillais. The thing is, the Marseillais, the actual, in the lyrics, the Marseillais isn't mentioned. Marseillais isn't, Marseille isn't mentioned in the lyrics.
Okay.
It's like, say, like a Beatles song, for example. She Loves You. She Loves You's mentioned.
Yeah.
Every song that's sung, it's mentioned. It's like our own national anthem. God
Yeah.
Save the King, so unemotional it is. Um, the King's mentioned. You see what I mean? Do you see where I'm getting at?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, do you know why it's called the Marseille?
No.
Well, during the Revolution, it was written, this particular song. It was written by a woman. I forget her name, Madame, whoever she was. And people came up to Paris. They walked from Marseille to Paris, which was a terrible journey. A terrible journey. And they walked up and they started, once they reached Paris, and they went through the streets, the main streets of Paris, and they were singing the Marseille. And that's how it got its name.
So it's a song about the walk, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, of course. These lads and girls from Marseille who did the march.
Yeah.
And so they named it after them.
Oh.
Let's see what the chaps and girls have been saying. And Darryl says, tired tonight. Watching the stream to help me sleep. Oh, thanks very much. And Gerard says, I meant those criteria. Don't worry. And Toscana, evening, Anthony. Hope all is well.
Thank you, Toscana. Yep, we're okay. We're okay.
And Gary Rigby, our old mate Gary Rigby. Evening, Frank and Anthony.
Good evening, Gary.
And Linda says, evening, Frank and Anthony. Hope you're both keeping warm. Frank sent you a pic of Lime Street in colour. That fabulous image. Oh, I'll have a look at that. I'll have a look at that. I haven't had a chance to have a look at anything, to be honest. Linda, what's happening with Williamson's tunnels, says Jeanette. Hang on, Jeanette. Hi, Frank and Anthony, and everyone in the chat. Hope you're all well, says little Lambie. Little Ellen. Hiya, Lambie. Oh, Gary. All you need is love opens with the French national anthem. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah. Good thinking that. I never thought of that.
I think that was more George Martin, who thought it was a nice joke. Maybe.
But you know what? That's strange, isn't it? I always wondered, why the Marseille was actually mentioned. Well, not mentioned, but played.
Yeah.
In that.
I think with the Beatles concept, it was to bring something in to the song, which is recorded live in London in a studio on Abbey Road, EMI studio. And it was to get across that it was a global thing. You know, All You Need Is Love was not just in England, but in France, Germany, Japan, globally.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Jeanette said, Rain Hill was the home of the trials run by George Stevenson. Yes, Jeanette. So right. So right. From Edge Hill, Tunnel Road. Hello to you, two amazing human beings, says Lee Brady. Hope you're both well, Frank. Hope you're both well. Frank, how's many of them little lockups where in the city we know of, 2 in Wavertree and Everton, or any more still standing? They only put them in. I'll get back to that in a moment. I'll just say, just let me finish these things off.
Good evening, Lee. Thank you.
I don't mean made me bored. It's nice and calming, Franco. Oh, that's nice. So at least he hasn't put us on to fall asleep.
Yeah. Well, we'll sing to you if you want, Darryl, you know, and that might help. Or might give him nightmares.
Don't give the dog a bone. Yep. And Jason says, Paris, the city of love. But it is, isn't it? You know, it's renowned for the city of love.
Yeah.
City of love. Anthony's right. Yeah, see that? You're right about, you know, what you were talking about, you know, the Beatles and things. And Gary says, I know Tunnel Road well, Frank. Do you remember the church? It was massive and the local, calls it the Action, yeah. I was in Tunnel Road, I'm talking years ago. And when I was there, I was looking around, looking for a little film thing, you know, location about the trains because we were doing the railway. And I went into this. It was a red, it wasn't brick, it was stone, red stone building right by the station.
Yeah.
And anyway, I went in and it was an antique shop now. And what it was the very first passenger waiting room. Because, you know, on the tracks there was nothing there, no shelter from rain or anything, even wind. So anyway, we decided to build it, this little waiting room.
Yeah. And it's still there.
There it is.
Oh, wow.
There it is. That was the waiting room.
Oh.
Fantastic, isn't it?
That's fantastic, isn't it? Could have been
go on.
Could have been talking about Parliament there, bought and sold.
Yeah, and some antiques as well. But you see, you know the way it's the way it is.
Yeah.
That particular thing. So they had to make steps going down there, you know, so the people could get the train. But isn't it wonderful, you know, for people to think we've got to shelter the passengers?
Absolutely. That was the first, and it's still we got it.
Still there, yeah.
Yeah.
So most probably the city planners, you know, when they decide to do tunnel roads up, that'll go, and they won't know the significance of its history. like every other building that they've pulled down. And that time they wanted to pull down the mansion house, the white mansion house in Calderstones.
Yeah.
And I said, do you realise the significance of this building? And they went, why, what is it? I said, Sir Spencer Percival's home. He said, who's he? You see how I'm not, they're just not educated. They're just having a clue. And I said, Sir Spencer Percival was the only British Prime Minister to be assassinated. To be assassinated. And you're pulling this down. There it is. They wanted to pull that down, hadn't they?
Brilliant, Jason. Thank you. That's just amazing.
Look at it. Look at it. And they wanted to replace that with tenements or homes, you know, to make money.
Yes.
It's just diabolical, you know. What they need to do is educate themselves.
That's the problem. Yeah. There should be to every council, not just Liverpool, but certainly Liverpool, there should be a historian attached to the council.
Do you know what? I remember, you know, when I was the historical consultant for Liverpool 1, you know,
Yeah.
with Rod. No, we know Rod personally. And he said to me, I want you to meet the Queen. I said, I don't want to meet her. You know? And it was after it was done, you see. Not all done, but she came in the May, I think, of 2008. And I said to Francine, I said, you want to go with me? She said, yeah, okay. Anyway, I was standing in line, nevertheless. And I had to meet her because he said, you're the historical consultant, you've got to meet her. Because there was a big line of us, you know, architects and other people. So anyway, I shook hands with her, and my point is that the likes of, you know, Rod, who built Liverpool 1, and he said, I want you to meet, and he was the chief constable, forget who he was, some constable. And he was talking to me. And he said, oh, you're the historian? I said, yeah, I am. I'm the historian. And he said, I have new recruits. He said, and they don't know the way around Liverpool. We have to look at maps. And I said, well, the best finding out, if they're looking at maps and they're looking at certain areas, they need to know about the history of it. They need to know about buildings. They need to know where they are. And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, it's no use just pounding the beat. I said, and you say like you're walking down Dale Street, for example, you know, there are a couple of buildings there. They could actually look at them and go, wow, I didn't know about that. Because the buildings in Dale Street are fantastic. The history behind them. Do you see what I mean?
Beautiful.
So great idea, that. That's a great. I said, but you know, it's not just the police that really need to know. I said it's the councillors and the city planning, because they haven't a clue what they're pulling down.
That's the thing.
And then that's when I was told that the city planners and some architects, by the way, lived outside of Liverpool. Never had any idea about Liverpool.
Insane.
Darryl says, France too nice grub. Of course they do. France too nice grub. And Darryl says, Austin and Louise never got to go to oh no. They were going, weren't they, Louise and little Austin? And Louise, his wife passed on.
Yeah.
And he was so looking forward to it.
So
Of
sorry,
course
Jack.
it did. Of course it did.
Beautiful city.
Yeah. And as Gary says, it's still there. And that's the what Jason put up. Yeah.
The waiting room.
Yeah. There was a pub next door to it called Tunnel Hotel. Oh, well, there you go. See how things connect.
Yes.
It's like, do you know in James Street, Anthony?
Yeah.
You've got a building called the Moat House.
Yes.
Because that was the moat. James Street was a moat, for the castle.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice one, Gary. Liverpool could be the second city of love, says Jeanette. Of course, it's the city of love. The second city besides Paris. Yes, go along with that. Like that. I like that. And Gary says, remember the old fruit market on the corner of Wavertree Road and Tunnel Road? Yeah, that's just all of a sudden disappeared, didn't it? There it is. Just disappeared. Look at the brickwork and everything. Look at the entrance.
They're made forever, these buildings. Whatever city you go to, there's one in Aberdeen, which is unfortunately shut up now. Put a glass house up instead. But that is beautiful.
But they wanted to put a glass thing up, and when they wanted to pull down the Lyceum, bottom of Bold Street.
Yeah.
I stepped into the fray there. I stepped into the fray, as you know, about the post house.
Yeah.
Where Charles Dickens drank.
Yeah.
They wanted to pull it down. Frankie Connor rang me up. Not Frankie. And he said, I want you down here. I want you down. I said, what for? He said, they want to pull down the post house.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about Freddie Connor, not Frankie.
Connor, yeah.
So I shot down there, and there was a few people there, Freddie and his mates. And good shock. And the Iron Door? The Iron Door. Now, the Iron Door was...
The nightclub.
Yeah. Well, Jason's uncle owned it. Cracking fella he is. Really, I had him on my show once. And he was giving us all this information about the bands and everything that was on there. Wow. Now, what they did, Frankie Connor phoned me up. He said, they put the plaque up. Yeah. He said, you're going down. So anyway, I went down, and there was people there, old bands people. And so I stands there. He put the plaque up, and the plaque disappeared. This is the Iron Door. I used to go there. I used to see the churches there.
Wow. I never got a chance to go there, but I worked on a book which mentioned the Iron Door and the various other clubs that were there.
Alicia is, I know there's something in West Derby facing the church. I'm sure it's a small one-room building, very old. Wasn't that used as a jail type place? Yeah, that's well gone now. There it is there, look. It's there. But you know what I think it was originally for? a little church. I remember being up and what was it doing? Oh, what was it doing? I forget what I was doing. It was like a sort of like an anniversary type thing about West Derby, and I was up there. It was I forget who was. I forget his name. Oh, what's his name? And he said, I want to show you something, Frank. I said, what's this? He said, yeah, I'll have a look. And he showed me this very small building. This is in West Derby.
Yeah.
And he said it was a anti-church. I said, I don't know what you mean. An anti-church. He said, yeah, you know, because if anyone couldn't fit into a chair. Anyway, if Jason can put up the castle, if he can put up the castle, I'll show you what I mean. Our castle. He will put it up. I know he will. But if he can put up our castle, he doesn't need to. Yeah. I'm going to take it off a minute, Anthony. All right.
Yep.
So that people can see. Now, this thing here, that's what I mean about the anti-church. This, because this was built on the site of the castle. And if people went in, it's terrible, this, you know. There's the church there, right? Only a little church. Only a little church. And, you know, all these people, very important people that came around, you know, to Liverpool, and they invited over to the castle. Well, that was the church. So what they decided to do was build an anti-church, which was just outside, on the grounds of the castle, but just so that people could go in there for the same service that was getting told in the church. How's that? And that's what you call an anti-church. There it is, there. I'm sorry, Jason. I'm sorry, mate. There, look, you know, that's better than that.
Yeah.
I can't say. But that little thing in the background, that's the anti-church. And you see the water at the sides of it?
Yeah.
Can you see the water? That's the moat.
Wow.
Now, where that moat is, the left moat, and where those trees are, that's the top of Lord Street. And you see the bridge where you see like a fella and a donkey, you know, he's pushing a cart, you know, pulling up a cart. And the, well, right underneath there is the moat, and that's Leeds Street.
Wow.
And there's the pool coming off the Mersey. Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
There you go. And there's the shit. Someone asked the other week, I think, hey, Frank, was there a tunnel leading from the castle? There it is, there. And that's when, during the 1644, excuse me, when Prince Rupert came up. Prince Rupert came up and to siege the castle. And that's where Colonel Moore, for the parliamentarians held the castle. And he got off. He left the citizens to fend for themselves, because he got off with his troops under the tunnel there. The secret tunnel. You see?
Yeah.
And where you see Tide Barn Street, because of him getting off in a cowardly fashion, unfortunately, what had happened, the parliamentarians themselves scrubbed Moore, because that was Moore Street where Tide Barn Street is. That was Moore Street. And they scrubbed the Moore Street out and they put Tide Barn Street in. Now, Tide Barn, I think I mentioned this the other night, but, to clarify it, tithes are taxes, and that's where they had a big barn there for the Moors, by the way. The Moors were taking in the taxes. And that's where they paid the tithes, the taxes, in this barn. So they said, sod you. And it was just to remind people of the tithes that were being paid. Tide Barn Street. To keep the relevance, if you like, of what Moores did, of what the Moore did. Colonel John Moore got off in a cowardly fashion and left 360 citizens killed. How about that?
That's brilliant. I know we talked about it last week, but it's seeing the maps and the detail and see how close things were.
Yeah. And Amby says, why aren't these buildings listed? They are. They are, because you can't knock down a grade 1 listed or a grade 2 star listed, but you can pull down a grade 2. But if it's grade 2 star listed, you can't pull it down.
Wow.
You can't pull it down. And proper Georgian building, says Diachi. Yes. And Jeanette says, Calderstones Park is an amazing place. Yes. You're so right, Jeanette. You're so right. La Marseillaise itself might have roots in earlier Italian. It did, actually, with the violinist Giovanni Battista Viotti's composition showing strong resemblances, though the exact origin remains debated. There was a lot of Huguenots in France, and they were from Italy, the Huguenots.
Yeah, Lenny's family or descendants of Huguenots.
Are they?
Yeah.
That's what the French call them, by the way, Huguenot, because it's a French. Do you know what it was? Do you know who they were?
No.
Shall I tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't agree with the Church of Rome.
Oh.
So they left. They left Rome because, they was, well, if you don't agree with it, sod off.
Wow.
The Huguenots.
So they were then later exiled from France as well, wasn't it?
I always remember me Auntie Leah telling me about that.
Wow.
Rosalina Volante. She told me all about the Huguenots.
Yeah. I tried to find some information because apparently there's an annual gathering of Huguenots in London. So I wanted to give Laney's dad the information to see if he wanted to do it. I couldn't find the information that we needed.
And Gary says, which is so right. They knocked off a Liverpool town, Park Road, Scotland Road, Wavertree Road, nothing left of them. No. No.
Yeah.
See, Scotland Road, why that went, to be honest, was because of the tunnel, the Kingsway Tunnel, the second tunnel. So half of it went because Mile End was knocked out. I was just thinking there, Mile End, a cop for this girl, He's only a kid, kids are 16, 17, a cop for it. And I said, where do you live? She said, I live up in there, Scotty. I said, whereabouts? She said, I think it was Portland Gardens. She said, Portland Gardens. So I said, okay, then I'll walk you home. She said, all right. So I'm walking up with her. All of a sudden, all these firemen just appeared outside, through an entry. All of them went, come on, where are you going? I'm going home, he's taking me home. There was a big fire at the back. It was never funny. I was laughing my head off. What are you laughing at? All right. What are you laughing at? I said, every time I think of that Mile End, that's what happened that night, going home with this girl. Never seen her after that. Because the fireman said to the girl, where do you live? She said, I only live up here. She said, when you go up there, she said, where do you live? I said, to the garden. She said, when you get down there, then go up. And the fireman chased me.
You have trouble wherever you go.
Love of my life. Never seen it again.
You could be walking through the Vatican and there'd be murder going on.
Oh, so funny. But you're right there, Gary. Knocks everything down. And Jason says there was a West Derby chapel found. Go away, have you? That's it. That's what he was talking about. Jay, can you put it up? Or was that it up?
Would that be our great headman?
There it is.
Wow.
And there was a little like a little anti-chair. It's gone now. Because I thought, it was like a sort of a lockup, which it was, but like where people used to gather, and it was like a little church, and then, what did it become? No, it was people used to gather, and when the church was full, they used to go in there, like for the service, so that they wouldn't miss a service.
Yeah.
But I didn't know where it was. It was around there because he was telling me about the church, I forget who it was. He was telling me. It was a cracking little bit of history, though.
That's a wonderful sketch as well. Well done, Jace, finding it.
Brilliant, Jay. Thank you so much, mate.
Of what you were saying last week about the sort of Catholicism being allowed to have their own churches, but they're basically houses.
Yeah, well, Skirving Street,
yeah,
which was the first St. Anthony's Church, but it was just an ordinary home. It was just a house.
Yeah, and
the priest used to hide there and say mass there, St. Anthony's. Great, isn't it?
Yeah.
My old mate, Steve Mulholland. Hi, Frank and Ant.
Hi, Steve. Good evening.
Hey, mate. And Linda says, we have the most listed buildings outside London. Yes, Linda, we have. And I'll tell you what, we would have had a lot more only for our city planners, as you know. as you know. And he actually says Gough Whitlam, Australian Prime Minister in the 70s, sacked me, and the dog are sharing his water bowl together and praying for the Kia yogurt thing, supposed to be healthy. God save the Gough Whitlam. Remember there, Gough Whitlam? With him, whatever his bloody name was.
Yeah.
And Janet says, there's a tide barred road in Knowsley Village. Well, as I said, Janet, the likes of the tides that were paid, they weren't through like the town hall or anything. They were paid in bloody barns to the people who own the land. To the people who own the land. That's why they called them Tithe Barn, if they wanted to name a road, just like Tyburn Street after Colonel Moore, Scarped.
Yeah.
From Prince Rupert, and left the castle and the citizens to fend for themselves. 360 citizens were killed. And they also killed a blind man, you know. A blind man was sitting there. He didn't, you know, he had the commotion and everything, what was going on, and gunfire and whatever. And he just put him to the sword. Stephen Arno. Hi, Frank. I think my ancestor lived in 13 Abercrombie Square. Elias Arno, my family were. You got there. Ah, there you go. Look at that. Brilliant. I know that was a French name, Arno. That's why I said Arno. Instead of Arnold. Arno. Yeah, lots of... that's brilliant, that. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant, because Huguenots did come over.
Yeah.
My Auntie Leon, that's why she told me. Because she knew a few, you know, descendants from the Huguenots of France.
Yeah.
Well, really Italy, to be honest. And they joined the French Huguenots. And they all came over, you know, well, I'm saying all, but few came over. And lots went to America.
Yeah.
And they never ever get thank you, Stephen, because they never ever get mentioned.
No,
They never ever get mentioned.
Again, it's on the boat thing, isn't it? As with the Italians and with the Irish and with the, you know, on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Liverpool, and then if you wanted to go to America, you had to wait your time for the, you know.
Well, same as my family, you know, like my mother's side of the family, because they came over, and they came over via Naples. So when they came, half of the family, see, there was what you call cheap passages, because they wanted to keep the money that they had to get to the New World, America. They wanted to get to New York. And half of them went over. But there was a 6-month waiting list for our family. There was a six-month waiting list, so they stayed. And they got jobs. And my granddad, sorry, go on.
You would have had to get some form of jobs just to pay for standing still.
Yeah. And there used to be a place in the bottom of Bold Street, not Bold Street, the bottom of, God blimey, Duke Street, couldn't think. The bottom of Duke Street called the Casatali building. Yeah. And I tried to save that from Mike Story because he wanted to pull it down. I said, don't, the history behind it. He said, well, we're going to build it like it was. I said, it's not the same.
Just leave it.
Yeah. strengthen it. That's all you got to do. So anyway, they pulled it down. They built it back up again. Casatali building, because what he used to do, when Italians came over, he was like lending instruments and different other things to the Italians, to the communities. And I tell you, my great uncle, one of my great uncles, do you know what he had? He had a barrel organ. He actually got the barrel organ from Napoli over to Liverpool.
Wow.
And he used to play it, and they were making money.
Yeah.
So they decided to stay. They said, this is all right here. And they decided to stay in Liverpool, like a lot of other people. Yeah. Like the Irish decided to stay here.
The Chinese?
Because they wanted to go.
Yeah.
It'd be like Stephen's family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most probably they were wanting to go to America. But they decided to stay. Because they seen Liverpool as Liverpool.
Something new. And there's also, well, certainly with the Italians and the Irish, and possibly others, there was a community that kind of looks out for each other. Churches as well.
Yeah, because what you had, I'm being honest here, what you had, this is why the Italians and the Irish lived together, because around the area you had Catholic churches springing up. St. Anthony's was the main one. And as you know, as it was being filled up, the likes of Scotland Road, and it's being filled up, people were moving more and more up, say like to Shaw Street.
Yeah.
Right, so they were moving up there. And people were asking, traipsing down to St. Anthony's, all the way down there, because that was the first church there. Yeah. So they were traipsing down there. The Italians just next door, they just walked up. And then, up Scotland Road. And so anyway, these 4 Irishmen, I have mentioned this before.
Yeah.
They were in the Rose and Crown, facing the Bridewell there.
Yeah.
And they asked this fella, J.J. Scholes, if they knew that he was an architect. Can he build us a church? He said, yeah. And St. Francis Church was built so that the Irish community, and not just the Irish community, but others of the same denomination could go to the church. And that's what it was all about.
Yeah.
That's what it was all about. That's how they lived so closely together. And you had the Jewish community, which was more or less at the top of Islington. And that was around Seymour Street. And that's where all the tailors are, if you know.
Yeah.
That's where all the tailors were. Even today, if you're going to buy cloth, you go to Seymour Street. You buy your cloth.
Really?
Fantastic, Jason says, West Derby, there's a yeoman's house too. Oh, go away. In West Derby. Is that it? Oh, yeah, look at him. There's the barrel organ, look.
Oh, that's fantastic.
My great uncle there. But they used to have monkeys. He had are they monkeys? He had a monkey as well,
Yeah, they're monkeys, yeah.
And they are monkeys. The monkey used to take its hat off and go around to the people, to put money in.
Wow.
We knew how to live. And Jason says, Lindsay, I've come off Facebook. You can send anything through to Frank's page and I'll pick it up. Oh, she must have mentioned, she must have messaged him. And Stephen says, Elias was a customs officer for 30 years. Wow. And he had 6 servants. I'll tell you something, Stephen. And your ancestor could have been one of them. Because when you see old footage of the migrants getting to New York, and they had labels on them, because when these migrants were reaching New York, it was a terrible mess. It was chaos because they were shouting. The officers were shouting, "Where's your passport? Have you got papers? Where's your passport?" And they had to put them in categories: people with passports, people with papers, and people without. But it was chaos because they couldn't understand anything. So they asked Liverpool, the customs, if they could help. So the customs here in Liverpool, they said, yeah, what we'll do here to save all what's going on in New York, we'll put labels on them. WOPs. W-O-P. Without papers or without passport. That's what WOP means. Then it became a derogatory term for Italians, especially in New York. You're nothing but a WOP. Yeah, you dirty, stinking WOP. That's what it was like. Stephen, good shout, that. 6 servants. Lord Derby Estate. Lord Derby's estate, yeah. It's good, him. And actually says Gough Whitlam was a very naughty boy, Frank. One has to respect a proper rebel just to talk where are they, the rebels? Don't know what you're talking about, to be honest. You're talking about Australia. G'day. Sorry, Archie, mate. Sorry. Now Knowsley Park and Safari, and Safari, yeah. It is a safari park. Broke down there, mate, once. Hi, Frank and Anthony. What is a barrel organ? Says Freedom Journey. There it is. What you said, you just play, it's like like what we call a starting handle on it, and you just went around like that and played lovely music. That's what a barrel organ is, mate. There you go. There you go, Freedom. There you go. And it plays all types of music, not just like one thing. Crack at that.
Mind you up. Be like you and me, Frank.
I got wound up before. I got wound up the other night when he had trolls on the football show. Hi, Frank and Anthony. What is a barrel organ? Well, there you've just had it. Shall we have a break?
Yeah.
I really need a break. I really need to make a cup of tea.
Me too. I'm going to go that way.
Yeah, I'm parched. This is St John's Gardens, but why isn't it called St George's Gardens? After all, this is St George's Hall. The answer is simple. What stood here since 1771 was St John's Church. And don't forget, St George's Hall wasn't built until 1854. Take a look at this. This is an actual picture of St John's Church being demolished in 1898. Sadly, there are not many pictures left of it. There's a great urban myth surrounding the hall, and the myth is that the hall was built back to front. But how can the hall be built back to front when St John's Church is already established in place? And also, what do you associate with the church? A cemetery. It's as simple as that. So why would the architect Harvey Lonsdale Elms have a steps plateau coming into a cemetery? The hall was not built back to front because Lime Street Station, that was there in 1836, and only the rich people could afford to get on the trains, came out to Lime Street Station and seen this wonderful building with its steps and plateau. The myth, unfortunately, continues with the death of its architect, Harvey Lonsdale Elms. He was supposed to have committed suicide when he returned 12 years later and seeing the hall built back to front. It's a load of nonsense, and it's been fabricated over the years. Unfortunately, he did die 7 years before the completion of the hall in Jamaica, where he was sent by his physicians to recover from a common disease, tuberculosis. There are other myths within this vicinity. So let's go over and have a look at Nelson. Nelson. We're on the steps of the World Museum, William Brown Street. And did I say a moment or two ago that this was Nelson? In fact, it's an easy mistake to make. Actually, it's the Duke of Wellington. And people often ask why he doesn't overlook the city. Well, he's actually facing Waterloo as the crow flies, his most famous victory in 1815. You'll like this. He's not made from bronze or marble or stone. He's made from the French cannons captured at Waterloo. No, it's not there neither. It's very hard to find these things. Well, it's not here. Let's see. Yeah, there it is here. Because when you go in there, down there, there's a spiral staircase that leads right to the top. You open up the doors and you clean the monument itself and the Duke. Where shall we go next? From a huge monument to a much smaller one in Rodney Street, and there's some story behind that one. This is Rodney Street,
the home of William Mackenzie? Did he live in one of these fantastic Georgian buildings? No. The myth is, he's in a pyramid. This is John Foster's St Andrew's Church, which unfortunately has seen better days. The myth surrounds William Mackenzie, a Scottish railway contractor who was an avid gambler. His ambition was to have a royal flush, the highest hand you can have in poker. Mackenzie said if he never fulfilled his ambition in life, he surely wanted to fulfill it in death. His will stipulated his instructions very, very well, right down to the finest detail, that he should be sitting at a chair with a bottle of scotch, holding a royal flush in his hand. So if he never fulfills it in life, he surely would fulfill it in death. So is it just a myth that Mackenzie is in the pyramid, or is it fact? I'd like to think that he is sitting in the pyramid with his glass of scotch, holding his royal flush. I really like to think so. This is Hope Street, the only street in the world where you have one cathedral at one end and a cathedral at the other end. And on this street in 1826, there was something very sinister that was discovered. John Henderson was a Scottish merchant, but was he? Because when he came to Liverpool, he said that he was a fish oil exporter, and he hired a cellar based right here in Hope Street. Mr. Henderson was not involved in the fish business. He was involved in a very, very lucrative body snatching business. The bodies Henderson acquired through his grave robbing were actually pickled in his cellar of where he lived, ready to be transported up to the anatomical institutions in Edinburgh. However, he was discovered, but unfortunately he never ever got caught, because when he seen the police outside his home, he took to his heels. The bodies that were discovered had to be reburied, but no one knew their identity, so they were buried in a pauper's grave.
I absolutely love those slices of history, and you had chance to kind of follow up a little bit on the Mackenzie one, didn't you? Where in the film where you left it kind of open, and you said, "I hope he is sitting there with his bevy," and there was kind of an investigation, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a couple of Americans, and they got those very microscopic cameras. They went in, and what they seen was a table. The legs of a table I'm talking about. The legs of a table. Then they went further and they seen a chair, but it had legs, but just trousers, and also on the floor they seen playing cards, and they got specialists in, bone specialists and playing card specialists, and they said that the playing cards were from the period, were from mid-19th century. And the bone specialist said it was a female actually. She said, well, you know, if you're holding cards and you all of a sudden, you know, you skeletalise and they just fall on the floor, the bones and everything just fall on the floor.
Wow.
But what they said, like, you know, they said, we never seen any bone. I never asked, like, you know, said, did you see any bones? He said, no, like that. So I'm not saying it's a mystery, you know, I'm not saying anything. And that's it, you know, that these American people who went in, they bought a hole in it and went in with this telescopic camera.
Wow. And nothing ever more of our body snatcher?
No. No. And the hatch, 10 p.m. TV lockdown, my granddad saluted the screen. Now that's proper mind control. Rest in peace, my granddad. Always gave me and my sister a shilling in our hand, not the glass. Yeah, the lockdown, that was in the 70s, 73, 74. Under Mr. Heat's government. The lockdown. Did I get you right there? Polo. Frank knowledge is amazing. I was born in Kensington in the 1970s. A lot of Italian families and descendants were in that area. Yeah, like the Capaldis, ice cream, gelati, lots of ice cream. We came from a place known as Little Italy. Little Italy. And unfortunately, I forget her name. She was the Italian consul here. And she put up a plaque. I was on my way to St. George's Hall. And I was going through, went seeing the consul. And they were putting a placard, they unveiled it, smashing, you know, this area was known as Little Italy. And it gave a few little details. The next day it was gone. Someone had stolen it.
Passionate, these Italians, you know, Frank.
I don't know whether it went back up or not, you know, like another one, but I doubt it because it cost a few bob. Thanks for that, Polo. Thank you. Wake up, sleeper G. We are the monkeys. Frank, my mum's name was Jean. She passed on. Sorry to hear that. Didn't know. And Jason says, a barrel organ is like Frank on a Friday night show. Wind him up and watch him go. And the football, the way it's going. Yeah. I'm a monkey in the hat. The lovely Karen was with us. Not many cars parked on the pavements of Rodney Street back then. Great vid clip. Love watching them and learning from them too. Wow. That's interesting about the facts of Mackenzie. Yes. Yeah. And what about the body snatcher? Brilliant. Chilling, says Archie. Paulie. Hi, Frank and Anthony. And chat.
Hey, Paulie.
And Jason says, that's it. Yeah. Nunzia Bertali. Met the lady. Met the lady.
Yeah.
And she knew about my family, believe it or not.
Fantastic. Good. Respect.
Yeah, yeah. You know, especially my great uncle John, who was a boxer. Yeah, look at that. There
Oh,
she is. Wait, I'm sorry. Meant to take this off. There's Ray Bashino there.
yeah.
He's passed. He's gone now. And there's Nunzio. And do you know who that is in the middle?
No.
She's from an Italian background.
Yeah.
And her name is, she's the one who gave the nod for that statue that we disagree with and dislike with, and
Oh,
Mike disagrees with,
yeah.
Flo Clufus.
Yeah.
That's it, you know, of Kitty Wilkinson.
Yeah.
She gave the nod for that, whereas there was a lad, a Liverpool lad, who lives and works. I think he's one of the greatest sculptors going today.
Yeah.
And his name is Martin Foote. And he had a maquette. And I went to see her. And these other two, he was in the final three of the statue for Kitty Wilkinson that was going in at St. George's Hall.
Yeah.
And Martin's was absolutely amazing. It really was amazing because he had the image of Kitty Wilkinson. It just looked like Kitty Wilkinson. And the one that wanted us there in there today, all because of snobbery, in my opinion. Hate snobbery. I really do despise snobbery. Because the lads who did that sculpture, not a Liverpool lad, like Martin,
No.
but it was a fella down south who went to this London School of whatever, art.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's long.
You've hit the nail right on the head. Because that's unfortunately what happens with the arts, darling. Nothing to do with talent. And obviously not. You know, I know our dear friend Mike Kelly was almost in tears when he said that and he walked out of that launch and said it was a disgrace
Yeah.
to Kitty's name. And
it was a disgrace. I call her, even today, old Mother Riley. You know, rolling her sleeves up. You know, I said, that's, and her face doesn't even look like it.
No.
And it was her who did it. Give the nod instead of giving it to Martin.
Yeah.
Horrible. Just horrible. And Ray, I used to go to match, you know, that the fella there in the photograph. Used to go to game. It's funny, Ray. But he, you know, lovely fella, really lovely fella. And sad that he's passed on. But, you know, proud of his Italian roots like I am.
Yeah.
Very proud.
Brilliant. Oh.
Toscana. I went up to the top of the Anglican Cathedral years ago. There's some amazing views. Yeah, Toscana.
Yeah. You can still do that now, I think, Toscana, but you've got to pay and book it in advance and stuff. But, yeah.
I was the first person to give a talk there, you know. But the only ones of me to. I was an what do you call it? A guinea pig. I didn't know at the time that I was going to be a guinea pig. because do you know who they had coming after me? The Dalai Lama.
Oh, okay.
So they wanted to see how it went.
He wasn't from Pierre Gardens, was he? He could have been down from Scotty, but
Yeah, he was on it. Well, you know, a few weeks after me. So they used me as a guinea pig. And I was in the well of the cathedral.
yeah,
Quite a number of people there as well for me, you know. But anyway, they used me. And I was also a guinea pig, excuse me, when St. George's Hall, you know, after the refurbishment.
yeah,
And again, I didn't know that I was a guinea bloody pig. And they used me in the concert room.
yeah.
You know, Frank's giving a lecture there, you know, come along. And I tell you who was there. We spoke about this fella before, but anyway, that's besides. Spencer Lee.
Okay.
And Spencer, he was with his wife, and she didn't want to be there. And she said to him, this is what I believe, she said to him, he's going off on all the place and not finishing off. He said, listen, just wait till the end. He ties everything up. It's like a spider's web right to the middle. And then she said, you're right, but he did. He tied everything up. So, you know, they used me as a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Strange,
What?
isn't it?
I hope you don't think that me and Lainey used you as a guinea pig when you opened the heads at St. George's Hall. I think that was with Charles. That was like the April, wasn't it?
Mm.
We were there in the August.
Yes, that's right. But do you know what? Genuine this. On the day you said, will you come up? And then you said, will you give a speech? And I went, I didn't even know. It was just me. But it was a fun day, that particular day. Another time, I was invited, me and my partner at the time, and to the cycling club. The cycling club. And anyway, I said to her, I said, do you fancy going? She said, yeah, okay. You know, to keep me company. So anyway, we went up to the cycling club. And you know that Boardman fella, he was there.
Chris Boardman?
Chris Boardman, yeah.
Yeah.
They were, you know, anyway, I'm sitting there, you know. I'm talking to him, and then all of a sudden, we're brought to our places. And there was a top table here, which I was sitting on, and two other tables going down, right?
Yeah.
It was a rectangle where they were all sitting. And there was a few Olympian medalists. So I'm sitting there, you know, and I'm sitting, like she was there, the chairman was here, and I'm sitting there, the secretary was next to me. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going to myself, why am I sitting here? Why can't I be sitting with Chris Boardman, you know, something like that? So I'm sitting there, and he stands up and goes like that. And our speaker for tonight was me. I never had a clue that I was talking. I just stood up and I said, I didn't know that I was invited up, you know, to give a talk. Honestly, they never even said, they just said, would you like to come up? But, you know, I gave the thing, and I just gave a talk about characters and that, you know.
Yeah.
Do you know who spoke about? I spoke about the wonderful first recipient of the Victoria Cross, John Kirk. Spoke about him and a few others, you know. I spoke about the wonderful Roscoe, William Roscoe. Spoke about
life.
Basil Rathbone. You know, these people, unbelievable people. Wyndham
Yeah.
Sad,
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
made up. They were
Yeah.
absolutely made up. They were so surprised that they were so surprised that John Kirk. They were so surprised that Wyndham Sadler, and they just made up, absolutely made up. And also Sir James Chadwick spoke
Yeah.
about all these people because I didn't know what to say. I just they got me by surprise.
And all that without the battle organ and me and Jason.
Jason says should have told them about how to put bread ties and lolly ice sticks on their spokes, mate. That's true, isn't it? Because we did that to make the noise. The lolly ice sticks.
Yeah. Oh,
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Let's see. And Steve Mulholland says, was it the same Mackenzie mentions in the Beatles song? Yeah, I reckon so.
no.
Father Mackenzie picks up the rice in the chip. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it could have been, you know, whatever.
Yeah. It's almost like that Dickensian thing where the Beatles too would just see things in passing, would walk past stuff. The name Eleanor Rigby is on a tomb in the graveyard there, Wilson. So they're just kids walking past them, as we do, and stuff stays in your mind, doesn't it? Names of streets and things,
Yeah.
but they wrote it, and yeah,
I think they have to, you know, put a few names in. The likes of it. What Eleanor Rigby wasn't the original name, you know, they were putting on.
no,
And when they were just down there at the cemetery, they seen the name. They seen the name, Eleanor Rigby,
yeah.
and they put that in.
Well, it's like poetry, isn't it?
Sorry?
You a certain amount of syllables because
Yes.
you're on a pattern, on a flow. So Lennon was amazing because he would make things up and then he put the words to it. But the greatest thing that I found when I was little listening to him, because Paul McCartney woke up and he had Yesterday in his head. He played it on the piano. He said to people around him, "Have you heard that song?" He said, "No, not heard it." I said, "Okay." Months. He did that for months. Wherever they were, he'd play it and say, "Have you heard that song, Frank?" You say, "No." So then he knew it must be his, but he called it scrambled eggs instead of yesterday because he didn't have yesterday. So called
So
scrambled eggs.
he just scrambled eggs.
Yeah. Just,
Incredible.
yeah.
That's what they were like. They were geniuses.
Yes.
And the actually says Robert Duvall played the best consigliere ever. Yes, Godfather. And
Yes.
Toscana says about Nunzio Batelli. Thank you. Thank you, Toscana. Looking us up. And Paulie says, Toscana, I went up to the Anglican Cathedral roof in the summer with my daughter. It was breathtaking. Got to agree with you on the views looking over the city from that height. Though, gave me the willies.
Yes.
And she replies to amazing views of Liverpool. I'll be going back to take more photos and greater view and great if you need to get your steps in. Oh, God blimey. I couldn't do it anymore, to be honest. And Jason said, according to the internet, Father Mackenzie is a fictional character based on McCartney's dad. You know, you tell us that, though. Would be Derek, wouldn't he?
Yeah, and again, it's so many years go by, and it's like, you know, even you and I, the beautiful people we've met, and we can vaguely remember some of the names that they would have offered into conversation and stuff. I think that's the beauty of getting back to our first love is literature.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a name is just to convey the meaning or a scene or a, you know.
Well, it was a thought, though, that Baroness Ortsky knew something about William Huskisson, and she based his character, the Scarlet Pimpernel, on him.
Yes, that's fantastic. Love it.
It's incredible, really, because, you know, people do write, say, like a fictional character based on a real life character.
Yeah.
And that's Charles Dickens.
Yes.
Charles Dickens, Mr. Micawber, he was based on his own dad.
Yeah.
Who was a spendthrift.
Yeah.
Both of them were a spendthrift, so he based everything on them.
Yeah.
You've only got Fagin. Fagin was based on a real life fence in Leeds.
Yeah.
The gang, as you know, was based on a Liverpool gang of kids called the 40 Thieves here in Liverpool. On the docks, working on the docks.
Yeah, the names, he's looking at street names and he's saying, that would be great as a surname, Brownlow.
Yeah.
Brownlow.
No, because it was Brownlow Hill. Where John Kirk was born.
Yeah.
Brownlow Hill Workhouse.
Yeah.
And he was the benefactor of Oliver Twist, Mr. Brownlow. Because you look at the names, if you look at the names of his characters, they've all got these. Uriah Heep, for example.
Yeah.
They've all got these unbelievable Mr. Micawber,
yeah.
Pip, Magwitch. You know, they've got all these wonderful names.
Ebenezer
Scrooge. Yeah, you know, so you've got all these Tiny Tim. And yet, Mr. Brownlow is just a common name.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Safe. And that's maybe why he's used it, you know, and it's not controversial.
No, and it's like Oliver Twist, because Oliver Twist, there's a twist at the end of the story.
Yeah.
A big twist.
Yeah.
Hence Oliver Twist. It's incredible, you know, the way some people look at. It's like, I'll tell you what it's like. Ian Fleming, for example, who wrote James Bond.
Yeah.
Right. Now, James Bond was based on a real life character.
Yeah.
A real life intelligence officer. And shall I tell you who it was?
Yeah.
And they reckon this fella would have been the best James Bond ever. Playing him. And you're not going to believe it. Because when Dr. No came out in 1962, he was just like cool enough then. Jet black hair, tall, knew the intelligence inside out. And do you know who it was? He was like Fleming knew. Fleming knew.
Were they cousins? Were they related?
No,
Okay.
no. It was, and this fella was, he was a war hero as well. He used to go behind enemy lines. He went behind enemy lines. He could speak several languages fluently. You couldn't even tell by accent. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Say like a German is speaking here, you'd know his accent, if you know what I mean. Italian, anyone. Even an American trying to do an English accent. You know, you could tell that he was an American. You know, these actors and starred in pictures, but they're English, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they're American, they're putting it on. You can tell a Scouse accent. If anyone is putting a Scouse accent on, you can tell that they're not Scousers.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But this fella spoke perfect German, anything, Russian, spoke Russian. He spoke Mandarin.
Wow.
So I'll tell you his name.
Yeah.
Christopher Lee.
Wow.
Dracula.
Absolutely classic. Well, he's related to Fleming, I think.
I know he is. I tried to.
I know. And me too, because I didn't want to just blurt out his name. But yeah.
That's why I said no.
I think you're absolutely right. What a wonderful bond he would have made.
Absolutely. Tall. And no matter how you look, you always think of him as Dracula, but he was a good-looking fella as well.
Yes. Yeah. And he kept that stature.
He did. He did.
Someone asked him before he died, what was the greatest role you've ever done?
Yeah.
He said Lord of the Rings.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a great actor.
Yes. Totally.
He made his money playing Dracula,
Yeah.
But that's the way he was, he was just an actor, but he came from a privileged background.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he spoke everything without an accent, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a writer's dream, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
You write something and, Chris, have a bang at that.
Exactly. Jason says he was originally called Father McCartney, but Paul changed him. Those names may have been in Paul McCartney's subconscious mind, says the Freedom. Yeah?
Absolutely, Freedom. That's what we do, all of us.
Good shout, that, actually. And Archie says, lovely Rita Meter maid. Look at modern times. Me mum's a Scouser. Pay. Here's me dog press. Stop it, will you? Jason, wasn't it Christopher Lee? Yeah, see, he's jumping in. He's worse than you.
And we love him.
Christopher Lee says the hats. Scaramanga, yeah. Scaramanga. And he did, he played in a Bond film, didn't he? Played Scaramanga, the man with the golden gun.
Wow.
I think it's great. I think it's great, you know, to say these things, you know.
Yeah, and the connection to real life and also connection to history.
Yeah.
You know, like it or not, you know, Ian Fleming is one of the most historic writers of certainly our lifetime and before. As far as I know, he was the first one to put on paper kind of the Secret Service, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the intelligence game.
Yeah.
Then John le Carre started to write about the
Yes.
intelligence game.
Of course.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yeah.
It's no matter how you look at literature and the history of literature and how it evolves, you know, today is incredible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing. You know, there's a million quotes by Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And you know, what we're living in today, Shakespeare sums it up.
Yes.
You know, you're talking like the 1500s and the early 1600s when he says, what a terrible era we live in, as idiots are governing the blind.
Yeah.
Idiots. And they are idiots, actually wanting to cause a Third World War.
Yeah. Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It just shows you, though, doesn't it, the way some people look at life. But you've got to look at the likes of the literature writers, the way they looked at it.
Absolutely. And it goes back to, well, earlier than Dickens, to Blake and everyone, but with Dickens would just watch, you know, watch you drink a cup of tea or whatever. So it's kind of, the literature is based on fact. I mean, how people behave in certain, and that's what makes the literature feel real to us.
Yeah, because you're absorbing what went on and what's going on today.
Yeah.
Anyone, you know, you look at the Brontes. You look at the Brontes, say like Wuthering Heights, for example.
Yeah.
And Wuthering Heights are absolutely brilliant because you had Heathcliff, who's totally in love with Cathy. And he just overhears her talking to the maid, like whatever she was. And she's saying about, you know, that she doesn't care about, or he thinks that she doesn't care about Heathcliff. And he goes away. He doesn't listen to what the full conversation was going to be because she turns around and says, I do love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the story, then he comes back, doesn't he, years later?
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant love story.
Yeah.
Tragic love story, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. As with our most love stories, because we're only human, we're fallible, we're fragile, loss,
Yeah.
return, really. And it's,
I just, you know, when I was talking about Baroness Ortsky, and she got this fellow You know, she seen what he was doing. And he was a very brave man, was William Uskerson,
Yeah.
because he was smuggling them out. And if he would have been caught, that would have been a death sentence for him,
Good.
William Uskerson.
Yeah.
And yet, look at him. He was one of the pioneers of the very first passenger railway thing in the world.
Yeah.
One of the pioneers. And unfortunately, he was killed.
Yeah. Yeah. And if there's a good side, and it's not a good side, but if there's a message to that no one can walk around Liverpool without being aware of his name. You know, Uskerson
I
Street.
think, yeah. You see, if it, look, it's like Alfred Lord Tennyson. We would have never have heard about the charge of the Light Brigade,
No.
because it was a little column in the Thunder, which was the Times Today, or which is the Times Today.
Yeah.
And in that little it just said about a mistake, an order given that they charged.
Yeah.
And they were just surrounded by guns, cannons, everything. And it was a mistake. There were a few survivors. Now, we would never have heard about that, only for his poem.
His poem.
A poem about that.
And he ummed and ahed about releasing that poem because he was up for the massive achievement accolade of being noted by Queen Victoria as the poet laureate. So you're thinking, I can't put that out. No, can't put that out because everything I've worked for will turn to dust. But he did put it out. But he had angst about it, and then he thought, no, I'll put it out.
Yeah.
And he calls him out, or he draws attention to the mistake made in the poem, doesn't he? So he's calling the British out and said, no, we did everything right, and we've done everything. Yeah.
No, you're right.
2 lines of print in a newspaper.
Yeah. Very small print, and he wrote about it because he wanted the mistake. It's like Wilfred Owen, for example. He wrote about the horrors of war.
Yes.
And this is what he wrote about: the horrors and mistakes of war, where people died.
And how
Alfred Lord Tennyson. So it's just like Wilfred Owen when he wrote about the horrors of war. And yeah, he was banned until 1930.
Yeah.
12 years after the war had ended, his poetry was published. But he was dead, unfortunately. He was killed a week before armistice on the 4th of November 1918. That's the crying shame. What does Archie say? Amazing in modern times, we're actually living through history. We will soon be past tense. God's help. God's help us when we are delivered. Yes. Yes, Archie. And the Freedom says, my Bronte books, but haven't trade. The Bronte books, but haven't trade. I don't quite get that. I'm afraid, Freedom. The Bronte books, but haven't trade. Is that what you're trying to say? Is the Bronte books were very, very popular. And even it was a men's society, as you know, when the books were written. And they believed that the sisters didn't do them. And they had to, they went under the pseudonym of Cora Bell.
Yeah.
And you can't tell the difference with Cora, whether it's male or female. And that's how they got them published.
Yeah.
And they still believe today, some of them, that they were fellas.
Yeah. And the same with Mary Shelley.
Same as Shelley, yeah.
When her books were the publisher said, yeah, but we'll have to take your name off him.
And Johan. It's Johan. Good evening, Frank and Anthony and legends. I know it's history now, but have you seen the absolutely unhinged, yes I have, sense of the Prime Minister of Norway? It's shocking.
Just,
It's shocking what he sent to that man. And he's invading, he's more or less says he's invading Greenland because he never got the Peace Prize off them. That's shocking. He's unhinged.
he is, yeah, definitely.
And, Congress and it's the Senate and everybody else should say, listen, this is enough now, that's it.
Section him. Just straight jacket, section him.
Because that, to go into a sovereign country as Venezuela, kidnap the president and his wife and bring them to put them on trial on trumped up charges.
Yeah.
Lies, based on lies, shocking. Toscana, better bomb than Sean. Do you know his ancestry, Toscana? He goes back to the Borgias.
Wow.
Family tree goes back to the Borgias. Italians get everywhere. Oh, Bella. Buonasera, Franco and Antonio. Sorry, I'm so late. Just got in, so I won't say too much. I'll just listen. Lovely to see you, Bella. Really.
Yeah, and you're never late. You're with us
all the time. She says, "Hello, everyone." I'm freezing. I've got to see what he says. I have not read the Bronte books yet. Oh, I see. As well as Wuthering Heights. Would you recommend Jane Eyre? Anthony, tell him.
Yes. Freedom, we would definitely give that 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Now, I'm a massive Charles Dickens fan. I recommend Charles Dickens to anyone, to everyone. But Anthony, tell them what my favourite book is.
Is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. And do you know which that book is missed? It was missed by me because we talked about it. But other than Charles Dickens, at the same time, almost, you had the very first female writers to write about social concerns and poverty and child poverty. And that book is a brilliant window on that life.
It's right. It's right. It's fantastic. Great social comment, freedom. really great social comment. And what was happening at the time, to be honest, there's everything in it. When you start reading it, just read it from the beginning. From the beginning of little Jane's adventure. And Ashley, hiya Frank and Anthony and everyone in the chat up the Reds. You never walk alone.
Evening, Ashley.
And Ashley says, poetry, emotion, love you both. You're good guys. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. And Linda says, fabulous show tonight, Frank. Must love and leave you. Sis calling. Thank you, Lynn, for joining us.
Thank you, Lynn. All the best.
And Jason, they were just killing time till you got here, Belly.
And we were.
You know, Bella, I don't think you've seen this. This is where I grew up. Just bear with me. This is where I grew up. This is where my mother's family lived. And it was here in Liverpool, obviously, just off Scotland Road. And it was known as Little Italy. And that's Nunzia Bertoli, who was the Italian consul. And she put up this plaque. That's where Little Italy was. That's where my family grew up. Or lived when they got here. Little Italy. So we had a Little Italy here. And it's gone. It's gone, but the area is still there. It's not like New York. I wish. Anyway.
Yeah, that would have been beautiful. The street of restaurants and venues, people to meet.
Yeah. Sad, isn't it? You know, when you see a photograph like that, there's a lovely lady, you know, Nunzia, and a lovely fella, and Flo Lucas, who has an Italian background, by the way, and what she did about a statue that we're totally against. I know it's sad, like.
Yeah.
It's sad. And the act says, Frank and Tony, it all goes back to Babylon. Love you both. You know, thank you, Archie. Love you too.
Yeah.
Love you too.
Yeah.
So we come to the end.
Have dear friend. No. It's not the end, it's au revoir. Well, see you later, pal.
Yeah, look, Johan, do you remember when I told you I was getting throat? And Johan said, Frank, I researched what I knew you would. We're saying last night, Skib Biddy, Riz, and 67, don't look it up. It says brain rot. We're reverting to caveman growls now. Thing is, if you ever see them on again, I think Jason was looking out for them as well. Just get rid of them.
Yeah, give me Henry VIII.
Get rid of them. It's horrible, you know, what these idiots. They just sit there and they look at a stream, you know, they go, oh yeah, I could get on this. could be talking about anything, and they just have a go. But they were horrible. Don't look it up. It is brain rot. No, I won't look it up. But I knew you was Johan. I knew you were.
Thank you.
Said, right, thank you. And Paulie says, watching Frank reminiscing, looking at his photo of Little Italy, his sigh says it all. Do you mean Ray Vicino? Yeah. Looking at it proud. He's no longer with us now, Paulie. I used to go to the game with him. Me and the other mate, James Allen. He came to, do you ever remember me telling you when I went to match and he used to go with, he was a bit older than us. And he came out and, years ago, you used to see fellas with scarves tied around the wrists, like that. And anyway, we knocked for him, to go and have a pint, then go walk up to the ground. And we knocked and he come out. He had the scarves wrapped around his wrist and going, you're going to get your effing kicked in. He's looking at him like that.
Fantastic.
But that's him. That was a lovely fella. He's joking, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's joking.
You love the good ones, keep them close.
Yes. And Bella says, what happened to the plaque? Is it still on the wall, Franco? No, I know the person who took it, actually. Italian background, Italian name. And he took it the next day. It was gone the next day. Gone. So they've got it. I don't know. I said to him, I said, what the fuck did you take that for? He said, well, someone else had taken it. Why not me? There you go.
That's a logic we don't quite understand. But
yeah. But most probably it would have gone. And that's why he said, why not me? Shame. Shame. And the act says, the doors rang. This is the end. Oh, okay, right.
Jim Morrison on the gang. Yeah.
What you think tonight?
Loved it. I loved it.
It just shows you, doesn't it? That,
I love the warmth. I love the warmth of remembrance amongst good people.
Oh yeah, you can talk about anything today at the chat, and I mean anything. I meant to mention as well. Someone mentioned, and I said, was it Lee Brady? Lee Brady, yes. So I said, I'll get back to that. But it's at the beginning.
It was.
Ashley says, when's the next paranormal episode? You and Ant are going today, my friends. We'll get Jamie Williams in the next couple of weeks, Ashley. And Jason says, like Fletcher from Porridge, when he steals the bell from the boy. Well, he has one, and I didn't. That's right. And, freezing. Thanks, gents, for sharing your wisdom. Thank you. I'm going to go right up because it's only what Lee Brady asked.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. Or was it? No, hang on. He asked a question, and I know that. Oh, Jesus. Why can't that go up? Can't get it. Can't get it. Right, let's see. I said I'd answer it, didn't I? I'll get back.
I should have remembered too, but to be honest.
Oh, this was it. Hello to you two amazing human beings. Hope you're both well. Frank, how many of them little lockups were in the city? We know of the two in Wavertree and Everton. Any more? No. Because they were, the lockups, they were just put up in their certain places, certain areas. And the one in Everton is the most famous one. The most famous one because there was a lad by the name, what was his name? Something Smythe. Smyth. I think at the end of it, Smythe. Oh, what was his first name? And anyway, he was in the lockup and he was waiting to be hanged the next day. That's where they used to put them, bring them up from Lime Street and put them in there because the assizes was in Lime Street at the time, the court. And he was a murderer. He murdered 4 people. And anyway, they put him in there to be hanged the next day. But the guard, obviously he was guarded, but the guard didn't close the door properly, didn't lock it. And he's sitting in there and he moves it. He moves it. And he sneaks out. And he gets away, goes down to the docks. I'm trying to think of his first name. I think it was Jack. Jack Smythe. And then, anyway, he gets down to the docks and he just jumps on a ship and he's away. And he landed in America. But the southern states of America. And, you know, after a while being there, he gets to... this is the way the story goes. He gets in with a gang of fellas. You know, and they're like recruiting people, apparently. And he just joins them. Little did he know, you know, that he was a murderer. Most probably, there was a couple of murderers in this sort of group of people. And the group of people was David Crockett.
Oh, okay.
And he was bringing people together, you know, these people, fighters, to take on the Mexicans at the Alamo.
Oh, wow.
And he was killed at the Alamo. Jack Smythe. So he got us come up with this.
Fascinating. I thought for a moment just a long shot. But I thought you were going to say, and then his descendants are now presidents of the United States. But that was just a long shot.
Which would have been any of the warmongering presidents, if you know what I mean. From the likes of the Bushes to the Clintons to Obama to this fella, Biden. So how about that?
Absolutely fascinating. I knew it would be. That's why I pay for the ticket every week to come with you. Well, I've not actually paid for the ticket, but you know what I mean.
Yes. So anyway, all you football fans, if you're still with us, I have a. Do you know what? Did we finish off about? I can't do it now, unfortunately. Just let me show this. Yeah, there's the lock up there. Look.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the Everton, that's the one in Wavertree there. Wavertree lock up.
Okay.
There's the Everton one. Look.
Yeah. Made famous by its involvement in the Everton Football Club crest.
Yes. That's why that's why we filmed it, you know, for one of the DVDs.
Yeah.
Great Jason, isn't he?
Yes, absolutely the best.
It's been good that he's been with us tonight, though, isn't he? You know, putting these pictures up, especially the church in West Derby.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, Three Amigos, Tres Hombres, and I also love the connection with you and the battle organ and me and Jason on being the monkeys. Cool with me.
You wouldn't believe that, though, would you? You know, the likes of monkeys and the barrel organs.
Yeah, I mean that's what we talked about and dealt into about different cultures. I know that's kind of on a jokey angle, but different cultures from all around the world that come in, become part of Liverpool life.
Yeah, and there's me saying and there's me saying about I wondered who asked about it, and he did say Lee, and he was just got that up. Thanks, Jason. Thank you, mate. So we finished now.
Yeah.
I've got the football show tomorrow, people. I've got the Marseille game as well on the watch along. Not looking forward to it, Anthony. Really. Not the way we're playing.
No.
Not the way we're playing. And Frank and Tony, shame on us. You're both good together. Love the history. None of us is here long. We're all passing through. Love you both. As does me dog. I call him the Duke of Love. That's nice.
Brilliant, Hachi.
Toscana. Arrivederci. And buona notte, Franco. Thank you. Anthony and Chatters. Thank you for tonight. Footy scarves around the wrist remind me of the. Yeah, that's when we used to go with Ray Machino in the 70s.
Yeah.
And you're so right there.
Yeah.
He was only measured, you know, he took them off. He never went out like that, to be honest. Our little Lambie, she says, thanks, Frank and Andy. Great shows always. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambi.
Thank you.
We've loved it. I hope you have too. Yeah. Oh, everyone, thank you.
And he actually says, David Crockett was a Confederate. This is a big conversion, Frank. Yep. He was a Confederate. And any blues now will wonder, says Jason, what the hell has happened? Exactly.
Oh, with the pictures of the.
Anthony, you can do a caricature for a penny.
Here you go.
Anthony, monkeys.
Monkeys. Yeah. That's me and Jay.
You guys know exactly. So anyway, Ants, thanks for tonight, mate. I'll be able to have something to eat now. Because I never eat before I come on, as you know.
Get something to eat. I'll give you a bell in the morning if you're up for it. Or you're going out, Francine.
Yeah, I'm going to do a 10-mile jog.
I saw that in the paper, yeah. Yeah. Mind you, it was a private eye, so I wasn't sure. Well, whatever time suits you tomorrow. I'm just here with a paintbrush.
Good. Well, give me a ring anytime, you know that. Tomorrow. Anytime in the morning, afternoon, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it'll be better in the morning, to be honest.
Okay.
If you unless it's sunny and you're doing your painting, but it doesn't get sunny until the afternoon, does it? Have you noticed? Because of the dark nights.
No.
Have I baffled you there?
Johan.
Take care, legends, and Anthony. Smash the likes if you haven't already. See you, legends, tomorrow. Thank you, Johan.
Johan, thank you. And thanks for your Sherlock work.
Yes, definitely.
Excellent.
Night all. Cheers, gents. Says
Cheers, Joe.
Ciao, mate.
You, mate.
Thanks a lot, mate. Thank you so much. And on that wonderful note, cheers. I'll speak to you tomorrow, eh? Tomorrow morning. All right, mate. See you later.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.
One on that day, Tucky. Ashley. I got a book for you, Frank. It's about the war at Troy. If I'm allowed, I will bring it with me at the Newcastle game. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, Jesse James was a Confederate on the run for 16 years until Bob Ford shot him, in the back as well. Buonanotte, Franco and Antonio and everybody. Thank you, brother.
I was just about to put a complaint in with management. I've not been called Antonio all night.
Oh,
Sorted.
She's sorted, you know. She's sorted, you know. This bloody pain. So I'll speak to you tomorrow. Thank you so much, people. I really appreciate for keeping Anthony and myself company. Wonderful comments, by the way. Really good comments. Gives us something to talk about.
Yeah. Took us on a wonderful journey.
It does, and that's the beauty of it. It takes us on journeys. It really does take us on journeys. Journeys that, really should be So if you're ever watching it, you know, just by the time you're passing, right, you know, whatever it is, and you'd either watch what you can get is the Scarlet Pimpernel on YouTube. I mean the proper one, you know, the proper Scarlet Pimpernel, and think
Yeah.
about who it's based on. A Liverpool
Yeah.
MP
Me
who
too.
was actually killed on the railway during the 1930 trials. First passenger railway in the world. And he was killed, unfortunately. Johan says, Daryl calls you Antonio early on.
Oh, that's it. Oh, me money's going to be docked.
Your memory. And Toscana. Maybe you could get Slot to join your next footy chat. Then we can tell him what football is and not the rubbish he has to play.
That's the problem. He doesn't know much about it, does he?
No, he doesn't. Bloody well doesn't. And Ashley says, great show. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you,
Thank
Ashley.
you. He was at my house, you know, on Saturday. Ashley.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's fun.
Nice fella.
Oh,
Nice fella. All the way from Wiltshire.
yeah, I know you talked about it and trying to time it with the game and stuff. Yeah, fantastic.
And I told him what he took ages getting here, but he was following like that GPS things. And I told him what way to go. I said, yeah, if you just go along here and up, you'll just get to Scotland Road and just walk up with the crowd to the ground. I think I must have like cut it in half the time he took to get to me when he got off his coach.
Oh,
So I must have cut the time in half, you know, the way I told him to go, so he knows now.
yeah.
Knows what way to go.
Yeah.
So I'll speak to you tomorrow, eh?
Great, Frank. I'll give you the bell.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. I really appreciate it. Really do.
Yeah.
And the football fans tomorrow and Wednesday. On Thursday, I don't know whether we're having like a history show. I'm not quite so sure. And on it depends on the score on Wednesday, to be honest. And the current affairs on Friday, which is you were spot on, Frank, because when I left your place, I got to the grounds a lot quicker. Oh, great. Made up with that. Thank you, Ashley. I'm glad you told me. I really am. Thank you so much. So I got something right on Saturday. Never got the score right, like, but I told him. I was going to say I told him where to go, but that doesn't sound right, does it? told Ashley where to go. But anyway, thank you, Ashley. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Johan, for sorting them our souls out. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love you both, says Archie. You're Scousers. Me man was one. My dog's tail is docked. Anthony, he's half a Schnauzer and Jack Russell. What a combo. God help us. He's a rat.
He sounds Scouse himself.
He does, doesn't he?
That's
Half a Scouser he is.
Yeah.
And on that wonderful note, I'll see you all very soon. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. So we might be having one on Thursday, by the way. None of us, okay?
Yeah.
It's all right with you, isn't it?
That's great. Yeah, we'll talk tomorrow, and then just send me a text, whatever comes up.
What do you think we should talk about if we do? Any idea?
I would like to drop in a little bit more of the great literature stuff we were talking about, and possibly
Look at Johan, look. History of literature on Thursday, Sherlock.
there you go.
All right, we'll do some literature. Fuck the football. Sorry to swear.
Madrid and Sherlock.
Okay. Case him, isn't he, Johan? So we'll do that. We'll do more on but what we've got to combine it with, it's just like what we were combining with before. You know, what's going on today.
Yeah.
We'll talk about a few authors. Got to talk about Shakespeare. Got to.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
That's brilliant, Frank.
Okay. And we'll do that on Thursday. Thanks, Johan. Making our minds up.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Thank you. Goodbye.
Good night, all. Thank you.